Hello, this is Ed Tyson from MMA Collector. Every week I will bring in a new piece of memorabilia for my personal collection and even bring in a few collector friends with some of theirs. Our goal is to raise awareness of MMA memorabilia collecting and discuss the historical people and fights that made this sport what it is today. Join me now while we take a stroll down memorabilia lane. Today we're going to take a look at some rare event-hung UFC 100 posters that come straight from the halls of Mandalay Bay. Fighters talk about the emotions they feel, the buzz that comes with getting your hand raised after a fight. It is so powerful that even fight fans feel it when they walk into the building on fight day. In the last episode, we ended with the program from UFC 100, which made me think of showing you a very unique item that's also from UFC 100. These are actually the posters that hung in Mandalay Bay. If you were to be walking through the halls of Mandalay Bay a month, 6 weeks before the fight, you would see these posters spread out. They were all in big frames with lighting behind them. And when they light up behind, they really come to life. These are made to transfer light through, and they really give them a really nice image. These are about 9 feet in length, and they have several of the fighters. I have, just from memory...
this is George. Yeah, you got George St. Pierre here.
We got Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir, Alves, just to name a few. This one, Las Vegas seems to come even more alive when there's a big fight in town, and Vegas knows how to host a big show. I got another one underneath I can roll back up, and we can show a different one, which would be the Alves.
So there is one for each guy. You could just see how the Mandalay Bay sets it up with, the one guy versus the other, the versus kind of thing, and Alves here. Yeah, these are one-of-a-kind posters.
These
it's not
are
like
extremely rare.
Yeah.
There's not many people that would have these, and there's not too many more in the MMA realm anymore, due to most of the UFC fights out there seem to be all at T-Mobile Arena.
Or the Apex, right?
Or the Apex. I haven't seen one at Mandalay Bay in a while, and I'm not sure. Maybe the other venues do something similar, but I've only seen them at Mandalay.
And they could very well be a once-in-a-lifetime type of piece, because the Mandalay Bay, in and of itself, also, they may have a remodeling coming in one day, and then boom, those structures might be gone.
Yeah.
But these are built, custom-made for the Mandalay Bay. Huh, man? Fascinating stuff. Unbelievable. Alves, I bet you Tiago wants one of these in his room.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
What's the one you got under that? Or is that?
I don't have another one under here. Here we have the event poster from Mandalay Bay of the actual main event, which was Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir. Brock Lesnar ended up winning that fight that night. But this is the poster that would have been representing their fight.
And, that's the main event of UFC 100. You got to consider everything to do with that main event is special. And then you consider a once-in-a-lifetime type of poster. Like, how many do you think of this actual... Like, I know you've got one of Frank and a Brock separate as well. And those are pieces, of treasure there. But this one, how many of this one do you think are out there? It can't be more like a handful.
I've never seen one ever before. I wouldn't think that there's too many out there. Mandalay maybe had this particular one in maybe 2 or 3 different spots throughout, maybe more. I'm not sure, because I never went on each individual floor when I was there, but I don't think there's a whole lot of these out there. These posters are almost 3 meters long and were custom made for the Mandalay Bay. They are considered unique items among collectors, and to have the actual ones that hung in the building for UFC 100 is special. You are just going to have to imagine how they look all lit up when they find themselves in a museum.
And let's play a little game, Ed. Why don't you lie down next to that so that people can get a scope of... Exactly. We're going to make Ed lie down here. It's not something we get to do most often here. But as you can see, Ed is considerably shorter on one end and the other end in this thing. So
they're about 9 to 10 feet.
Yeah, that's just long, beautiful, and as we said before, unique, custom-made, for the Mandalay Bay. Unbelievable. And Lesnar, Brock, if you're out there, why don't you come by and give us a couple of signatures? Yeah, that could be too. I don't think there's too many people in the neighborhood with Brock, but yeah, no, and I don't think there's another item that's in the neighborhood with this in terms of, when we talk about a museum, what could you put at the front door? Hey, if it's good enough for the Mandalay Bay, it might be good enough as a stand piece for a museum. So certainly we're
And
in
I
rare
can't even
territory
explain
here.
how cool they look when they're lit up. You know, you would have seen them in the custom-made frames that they, and I believe that they've done boxing matches and other events where they make these posters the same size. So, you know, it wasn't strictly for MMA. I do have some boxing ones, but they're always for Mandalay Bay. I've never seen any like this in any other casinos that I'm aware of anyway.
Well, there you have it. This is the dress up for Mandalay Bay, and what better day to see Mandalay Bay dressed up than for UFC 100? You know, maybe at the time, definitely the biggest card that we'd experienced on American soil. Thank you very much, Ed. This is a wonderful piece. We're taping this in 2023, and I wonder, does the Mandalay Bay even look the same as it did back on July 11th, 2009? Those Vegas casinos are constantly refurbishing and upgrading and changing everything, and it's unlikely that the Mandalay Bay stands the same as it did back 14 years ago, and that makes the posters we saw in this episode doubly rare, triply rare, however you want to quantify that, because you're never going to see that again. You know, you see the UFC has moved on to their Apex Center, and they have most of their big events at the T-Mobile Arena now in Vegas. The Mandalay Bay is actually a thing of the past, and it's going to be a labor of love to hang those posters up and light them the way they were originally. But some of these collectors are crazy enough to just get that done.
Next episode, we explain what SBC means to the UFC and show a rare SBC item from our collection.
If you enjoyed our video, take a moment to like and share, and subscribe to the MMA Collector on YouTube and join our collector community.